Good to see you. Hello, Brother Michael. Simon, good to see you. Hey, welcome you, Tuch. Hello, Brother Piol. Good to see you too. John Howe. James Madut. Good, Simon. Good to see you. The wall, Emmanuel Manyang. I think you can read on the wall there. So we have a veteran journalist today, Nhial Bol Aken. All right, good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are, viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I welcome our viewers all over the world. This is Jongkor Mayol with our weekly episode of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I welcome you. Our topic tonight, as you can see there, with the return of FDs plus other political forces in South Sudan, is South Sudan going to be a multi-party democracy, or is it going to remain one-party dominance, SPLM? So this is the big, very, very big question tonight. We are going to discuss this question tonight, and we have a guest, veteran journalist Nhial Bol Aken. It will join us, and we can discuss this together. One more time, I welcome all of you around the world to this program. This is a platform for all South Sudanese from all walk of life, from all different political affiliation. This is your forum. We can agree to disagree, and remember, I cannot tolerate insult. I know some people, they have been out there like unleashed, but I cannot tolerate that. If I examine or I saw someone is insulting people, and then I will take an action against them. I have tools, and I have to do what someone as a host can do. because I will not allow someone to insult anyone. Let's disagree, no problem. Let's have different opinion, no problem. But let us be respectful. Respect is above everything. Like, when you respect the law. So I welcome you all again to our program. And as I said, we have a veteran journalist, Nhial Bol Aken. It will join us momentarily, and we continue to do all this. So I know some people, they don't like, music sometimes, but I hate to have a dead air. It's not good to have a dead air. That's why we have to play music, while we are waiting for the individual to show up. But meanwhile, it appears that somebody has called so far. Maybe as we are waiting for our brother, Nhial Bol Aken, I can bring this gentleman. Actually has request. Last week he requested, but he requested now before even our veteran appear here. So I can go ahead and bring him. I can bring you Sunday, John, Joke. I can bring you in, and I want to hear, because it looked like you sent a request right away. So if you are ready, go ahead and accept that, and I can bring you in, and then you can go ahead, with your perspective in this regard topic tonight. Now I'm calling you Sunday. Go ahead and answer that call, please. We don't want to spend a lot of time, hello, what's going on? So go ahead and answer that. And for some reason, if your phone is going to cause an echo, prefer, this is for all, this is for everybody, prefer to have an headphone with you, because having a headphone actually will minimize the echo, and then the show will go smoothly. So Sunday John, I'm calling you right now. Sunday John, Joke, as you request, I'm calling you. Go ahead and answer that. It appears like maybe the network is not working properly for you, because it keeps dialing and dialing and dialing. So let me go ahead and see what next on the line, and then we move on from here. It looked like Sunday this thing didn't work. I can go ahead with Gore. Gore, it looked like you sending a request as well. I can bring you. Go ahead and answer that, Gore. Go ahead and answer. And if this thing is not working for you guys, I can just continue to play the music until my guest arrives. So Gore, I'm trying to call you. I don't know what's going on, why it's not connecting, but try your best. Go ahead and accept that. If that's not the case, let me go ahead and bit.
Yeah,
So,
I use my mobile phone.
Good. Got it. It looks like there's a big noise there behind. I don't know where that noise from.
Yeah, sorry. Happy New Year, Jongkor.
Happy New Year to you, sir, and good to see you. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Yeah, thank you. I would like just to say thank you for what you are doing. And I really appreciate, especially when you stand with the people of South Sudan. You are so. I was watching when you are doing a show about the Sudan. So I really appreciate that. I wish we have 10 or 20 like people like you. I think history will one day.
We have a lot. We have a lot of people brighter than me, smarter than me, but they don't want to get out of the closet. They don't want to come out of the box. That's the thing. It's our role to encourage them so they can speak up, know their right. So go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. So the topic, I did not go through the topic.
Yeah, the topic that we have today, Gore, it said with the return of FD's political detainees, the former political detainees, plus other political forces, is South Sudan going to be a multi-party democracy, or is it going to remain one-party dominance, SPLM? So we have seen, movement. A lot of people, some FDs, they have gone. Majanga God has gone. Yandeng has gone. And Girchuang, those, they went to Juba. Plus other, political forces like IO and so forth. And now Deng Alor is here in the United States actually soliciting, Pagana Mom to go back. So does that mean South Sudan is going to move from one-party dominance to multi-democracy, multi-party, or what it is? This is the question of tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Jongkor. I wish it could happen as you stated. Really, people of South Sudan have been yearning for peace, and up to this time they are still yearning for peace. I hope this is a right track. but given the fact that the situation that is going on back home, I don't think that something is gonna come out of all this coming together of all these political parties, because these people, they are the very people that destroy South Sudan, you know. But again, if it come to their senses that, you know, something has to be done, then I think that may work, you know. But again, I'm still conscious, you know, because these people, like this political party, these are the same people that have destroyed the country, you know. But I hope it's still they may work out some other deals, you know. The problem is the president, the Jongkor, raised nata junub de yani o kana jibu salam. I think by today yatu o mungkin begul ya kasma hajat al ayu amulu de sunu yatu, you know. Let's come together, all of us, you know. What is it that, you know, we are fighting for, you know?
Yeah.
Like
So go ahead to help our viewers understand here. So does that mean South Sudan is going to be multi-party, or South Sudan is going to remain as the one-party dominant under the SPLM party? Because we have seen now FDs are going, others are going. They're thinking about reunification of the SPLM party. Does that mean that South Sudan is going to be one party, or is it going to be a multi? They will be accepted as a political party.
Yeah, thank you, Jongkor. Yeah, the problem is, you know, to form a party, I just could large groups, you know, because Nazdel Kulu Mahabium, woman Kulu have joined SPLM, you know, because as an be form party there, you need to have a platform and groups, you know. Nazdel Biligo groups when Mahakuma Hayala Kuruto, you know. Habiu Nazdel Kulu, Nazdel Kulu Hayarja Kulu SPLM, you know. Hata bagi given can I go to an example ta Lomuro is from different party, you know. Like that's how big my SPLM, you know. So I don't think that's gonna work, because can gurus ma be parties can mind do gurus almum be form parties, you know, because as an be register aju ita be the gurus as so that you can move from place to place, you know. Registering you know, like your ada petag wajadel, you know. So ajadde kulaju indu aju gurus de kullu ya marais, you know.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Gore. Let me go ahead and give other South Sudanese, you know, and request, you know, and have your perspective heard as well. So please, my brother, thank you so much, and stick around. We will still gonna be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. So let me go ahead and see who are next here while we are waiting for our guest, Nhial Bol Aken, to show momentarily. Let me go ahead and give a call to brother James Madud Juk. James Madud actually has sent in a request. I want to hear from you really quick, James, before we move on here. Go ahead and answer that. James, the Dawa Mark. Go ahead for the Dawa. Question of today. Remember, my dear brothers and sisters, viewers of concerned citizen of South Sudan, will the question of today is right here. With the return of FDs or former political detainees plus other political forces, is South Sudan going to be a multi-party democracy, or is it going to be remain, or is it going to remain as a one-party dominance by SPLM party? So, James Madud, I welcome you to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, my dear brother. Go ahead with your perspective now.
Hey, Brother Jongkor, Happy New Year to you and to all of viewers.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. Yes. Yeah. Brother Jongkor, Shale Hassel, they are one token.
Yeah.
We don't have other rule parties under the SPLM. They are one token.
Okay.
Different colors.
One token, one coin.
Yes.
Okay.
يعني عمر زي هرباي بتعرف هرباي فهرباي بمشي في اي كلر بتشينج فدي سبب شفتهم عمل أسماء former detainee other parties فهم كل واحد.
SPLM IO, SPLM IG.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Maybe SPLM
Yes.
diaspora, whatever you call
Yes.
it. Go ahead.
Yes. They are only one token. They are the only one will do everything. Just different ideas, but they are one. And self-interest. إن كل واحد داير يكون رئيس. ده السبب. زي ما قال أستاذ أكان. بول أكان. قال ناس ديل إذا جمعوا نفوسهم في مكان واحد هياكل جات الناس. إذا هم تفارقوا شاكلوا هم هيقتلوا الناس. فهم هسه جايين لما نفوسهم واحد عشان يجي ياكل حاجاتنا حاجات الشعب. وبعد كده كان جاي يختلفوا هيقتلنا بعد شويه. فشيء الفي اصلا ما في حزب ثاني يا استاذ بيجي في ساوث السودان عشان يقدر يغيروا حزب ده، والا هم حزب يتوحد نفوسهم. انقسامات بتاع احزاب الكثير في الجنوب ده ما بينفع. هنا رسالتنا ككونسيرن سيتيزن اوف ساوث السودان احزاب ده يتوحد نفوسهم يا استاذ.
نعم.
يا بقدر يجيب في وش بتاع SPLM.
يس.
لكن اذا هم بعملوا بدخلهم في SPLM بدخل نفوسهم في SPLM ما بيشتغل يا استاذ. هم يواحد نفوسهم والشعب يجيف معهم، يختاروا رئيس واحد ما يكون رؤساء. حزب واحد بيجيف مع SPLM بقدر بينتصر ل SPLM عشان قروض بتاع SPLM كلهم معروف. قسم اموال الجنوب لنفوسهم، اشتروا بيوت في كل بلدان في العالم.
كلامك صح جيمس. كلامك صح انه الاحزاب الثانيه المفروض هم يعني يعني القوه الضاربه يتوحدوا يكون one. But do you think those guys they are able to unite? Because here on year of 2017 we talk a lot. 2008 beginning of 2018 احنا قلنا يا اخي اتوحدوا يا جماعه لان انتوا لو ما وحدتوا and then the government is gonna fracture you. You're not gonna be able to make it. اتوحدوا لكن في النفوس ما كان في نيات كويسه. اتوحدوا for some times and then all of a sudden they fracture. Do you think ناس زي عندهم guts to unite ولا كل زول بده ينظر لكعكه بتاعته position بتاعه so وبشوف لو مشي براو he's going to get a chunk, he's going to get something, right?
ما يا استاذ جونكور ناسنا قال فاقد الشيء لا يعطي الشيء. كويس. فهم فاقدين ما عندهم شيء يا استاذ، ما عندهم هدف. اذا كان عندهم هدف ما بقدر يقاسم نفوسهم، لكن ما عندهم هدف. حتى ان الشعب بتاعنا وعي سياسي بعيد. كويس. ناس قبلي كل واحد داير ينزل قبلي، فده السبب. الخرب ناسنا اللي بخلوهم هم يشتروا. هسه قاعد تسمع انا سمعت مع اخوي ادوارد دور الفات قاعد يشتروا هسه الناس. يا اخي الناس بيشتروا كان عندك هدف ما بيشتروك يا اخي جونكور.
كوريكت.
كويس.
كوريكت.
فاصلا هم ما عندهم هدف اصلا. ناس كل الماشيين غابه العمل تمرد من اجل كير. قال كير كوي كير كعب يا استاذ عشان شالهم برا في السلطه. زمانهم كان في السلطه كان ما قاعدين نتكلم. كويس. فهدف اصلا يا سبب انت كان سمعت كلام تا مولانا مكوي زمان قال يا اخي ما دارين جيشين انما دارين. قال نازل كل ماشيين من اجل السلطه. فاذا دارين سلطه انا اعمل كريت بوزيشن. فاسا بوزيشن يا كريت يا بقى 5 فايس بريزيدنت يا استاذ عشان يعملوا لهم اكوموديشن. كويس. عشان يجيبهم جوا. كويس. يجيبهم جوا.
جيمس.
فالناس زي ما بقدر يوحدوا يا استاذ، ما بقدر يوحدوا. ما في عشان ده سيلف انترست يا اخوي. ما بقدر يوحدوا ناس، لكن مثل العام بقدر يوحدوا ناس.
كوريكت.
فده يا كلام انا بقدر نقول.
شكرا. انا بشكرك كل الشكر يا جيمس لمداخلتك ولحديثك القيم. Please stick around. We may bring you back if you request it again. انا داير انوه وانا داير انبه الناس بتاعنا تانا. انا داير انوه وانا داير انبهكم. As I said it from the beginning, I'm so clear. We have objective doing this. We have the values doing this. Emmanuel Manyang, I have been talking to you for quite a bit. And I gave warning from the beginning of this program, and I said that we can agree to disagree. But the notion that you keep insulting and insulting, it doesn't work. You know, في عالمنا. نحن نتفق أو ما نتفق is okay. But I will not allow someone to insult people. Therefore, I'm going to delete you right now. So you, the one that did it by yourself, it's not me. We've been giving you for a very, very long time. But most of the time you come here and insult people. Last time when I brought my guest, Suzanne Jambo, you insulted her. You did a lot. You did insult a lot of people. But I still giving you that opportunity, you know, so you can change. It doesn't hurt anything, you know, if someone stated their opinion. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt anything. Actually, we are benefiting all. I can benefit from you. You can benefit from me. You can benefit from my guest speakers. But the notion that you insult people, it doesn't work. So, إلى مزبلة التاريخ يا أخوي. Bye-bye now. So we gone with Emmanuel, Manyang, because he's not cooperating. So such a people, they are not welcome here. So let me go ahead and see who is next here. And then we'll bring you. Oh, I do see you request Sabata. So we are still waiting for our guest, veteran journalist, Nhial Bol, to come here momentarily. Meanwhile, Sabata, I saw your request. I'm going to go ahead and bring you in. He's dialing right now. Go ahead and answer that. Sabata, I'm calling you. Uh-oh. Hopefully the network will cooperate, Sabata, because it's cutting off so bad. Maybe it will work fine. That's okay. So Sabata, go ahead and resend it. I'm gonna go now and call Maker. Maker, I'm calling you right now because I saw your request as well. So I'm calling you. So Maker, I'm calling you. I know the network sometimes can be really tricky there, but go ahead and answer that. Let me play a little bit of music. Look like we have a dead air. That's nothing. Oh. Yes, Maker, good to see you. Akhbarak. Yeah, network, you know, they keep cutting out, but hopefully it will work fine. You know. Go ahead. Faddal. So yeah, Jamal, go ahead and send in your request. So Madud, I saw you send in a request as well. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you in. Madud, are you? I'm calling you right now. Hopefully your network at least can work, you know. Let me try see here if your network will work. All right. Hello.
Hello, Jongkor.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Good to see you. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Good.
Go ahead with your perspective, brother Madud. Are you?
Good to see you, Jongkor. Happy New Year. It's a long time, brother. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
I just have 2 minutes, you know, and a try and so you may delete, but you know it's good to delete, brother. Emmanuel, who shall have finance.
Listen. I have rules on my show. If you don't have rules,
of course.
Listen, if you don't have rules for your show, that's fine. Don't talk about Emmanuel. Emmanuel, I have been giving him chance for a very long time.
No, I just supporting you. I said on a good time, it's good to delete him. Because
okay,
actually, Emmanuel made a big mistake. Because
I apologize.
From you.
Apologize to you.
And
go ahead with your point.
I'm supporting you, Jongkor.
No, go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Jongkor, you say what? Oh, why? For social media. Before those guys attend Juba, we are talking so much. Jiten is out. Salam Mafi, Jiten Maja. As a Jiten Jejua, we are asking a simple question. Yaki brother, South Sudan people, they don't know anybody except SPLM. Even now, if you create your own party, call it consensus or even when people are one nation and you go to Medingawul and ask them, I am one concerned citizen, they will ask you, what kind of animal are you talking about? Junubin kulu ma biyar hali against SPLM. And what happened in 2013, it was misunderstanding between SPLM themselves. Now, they realize after 5 years that it was mistake happened in some where else. So now, we are so happy. شوف أنا بقول لك حاجة كلام واضح جدا جدا. كل ما يرجع جوبا زي قبل جيمس قال ده كلام منطقي واي واحد. هسه أول حاجة خطوة نمبر واحد هم خشوا جوا لأن عندنا سلام بيناتهم، وخطوة الثانية هو unification بتاع SPLM. الخطوة الثالث هو الدايلوج. dialogue is very important جونكور. وأن dialogue ده نحن دايرين على السوشيال ميديا يكون فوقه عشان نحن to make sure that in next 3 years جونكور we are not fighting anymore. So I'm really so happy, and G10 and all other parties now in Juba. And I just asked Jongkor, let's have change our language in 2019 because actually, Jongkor, we have been talking a lot. We need a peace in the country. Let's have give our citizens just 1 second peaceful life. Even 1 day is enough. So أنا بقول شنو السؤال ده سؤال واضح جدا جدا. أنت ذات تعرف الإجابة اللي هو إنه ديل كل حاجة شعبية زي ما قال جيمس ويمشي يرجع ويصال. أنت شفت كان بيسلم بعض كيف ناس فرحانين ناس أركا شعبية كاميرا لو دخلت بيناتهم أنت بتنوس في البعض. الماشي بيحاصل إنه يحاصل العفو بيناتهم ويرجع كياس شعبية. لكن في حاجة مهم جدا جنوبين دايرين نعرفه. هيكون في حزب اثنين حزب مهم جدا في جنوب السودان. According to my analysis, I don't think Nhial Bol هيكون part of SPLM unification. Nhial Bol هيمشي انتخابات باعتبار SPLM IO. إما G10 مع ناس ثانيين وناس جدد كله هيكون تحسب كرميادي in 2021. That is actually they are there and the share South Sudan as it is. But anyway, أنا فرحان جدا جدا بأنه الناس كل رجوا مع هذا honorable فكان أمور نتمنى إنه soon we will see him again in Juba.
Okay, thank you. I did an opportunity, you can just analyze and come up with your perspective. And I'm Dr. Madud for your insight. But now the question I wanted to ask, you said that إنه الناس ماشيين السلام وناس ماشي جوا وكده ونحن كنا قاعدين نتكلم في السنين الماضية عن سلام والآن رجعوا. So does that mean, in your opinion, because the question is clear here, with the return of FDs and other political forces, is South Sudan is going to be a multi-democracy, or is it going to remain a party dominance by SPLM? So does that mean that we cannot ask a question? The one thing. So I shall not returning
is good.
No, let me
returning is mean
let me finish. Does that mean, in your opinion, نحن ما نسأل سؤال إن جنوب السودان ده هيكون يعني بلد فيه أحزاب متعددة? Does that mean that أنت قلت قبل South Sudan just they only know SPLM, they don't know anything? I go like they don't know حيوان. Does that mean that we cannot come up with new ideas? Then we know what happened in the past. Okay. Does that mean that SPLM cannot be challenged?
Brother,
And the second question I wanted, you to answer this. What dialogue you are talking about in social media? What dialogue are you talking? Are you talking about national dialogue? What dialogue are you talking about? Go ahead.
Sorry, Jongkor بمناسبة أيام صوتي ما كويس. Thank you so. إنت أديني فرصة لأول برا. أول حاجة.
ليه أول برا؟
رجوع العذاب معناته في حرية. رجوع الحزاب معناته في سلام. رجوع العذاب معناته we are going to talk about the democracy. يعني الحرية ده ما شيء بيجي باتفاقيات. ده شيء يعني ثقافة الناس بيدرسوا في مدارس وحسب جزء من حياة الإنسان. So أساساً الخطوة الأولى إنه يكون في سلام في البلد. رجوع الحزاب والناس كله بالنسبة لي أنا بيوني أجل كثير معناته السلسلة يجي معناته إنسان جنوب ما يموت معناته شنو نحن هنتكلم عن الديمقراطية معناته نحن هنتكلم عن النظام الحكم معناته نحن هنتكلم عن الانتخابات. وده خطوة جميلة جدا. ده يعو كنا قاعدين نتكلم فوقه في زمن ده كله. بالنسبة للكلام بتاعي إنه مثلاً لا الجنوبيين ما بيعرفوا حزب غير حركه شعبيه. قبل 2013 كان في حزب يا جونكور، كان عندنا 18 حزب now as in كم
ما انت يا قلت انت قلت
so كان في حريه العزم لا قبل 2018 كان في حريه العزم الحكومه قبل 2013 كان 90% من الحركه الشعبيه و10% من الاحزاب اخرى اوكي على راس مثلا دكتور مارتينيليا هم من الحركه الشعبيه اوكي احزاب كثير جدا جدا سو رجوع الناس في جوبا بالنسبه لي انا ده خبر جميل جدا لكل شعب جنوب السودان بينه ما في شغل ثاني ما في انسان ثاني جنوب بيموت معناته فيها يكون في ديفلوبمنت هنتكلم عن الديمقراطيه هنتكلم عن النظام بتاع الانتخابات هنتكلم منو يحكم جنوب السودان في 2021 فانا بشوف ده خطوه جميله جدا يا جونكور اوكي وبالنسبه لي انا وده كلام انا زول منتظره ده شخصيه مهم جدا جدا يعني نيال انسان فعلا وطني من قام الاول وقال كلام مشهور جدا جدا انا مختلف مع نيال في بعض الكلمات انه الحركه الشعبيه اذا توحد بياكل قروض الناس نو بالعكس الحركه الشعبيه اللي بتوحد شعب جنوب السودان كله نحن عندنا امثال في 91 لما انقسمنا نحن على قسمين ما نص مليون وتاخرنا من الاتفاقيه تاخرنا من تقريبا 10 سنه يا جونكور من 91 كان 2005 ولما وعدنا في 2005 نحن حققنا استقلال سو الوحده دائما في قوه الوحده في يونيتي الوحده في باور ونحن من وحده نحن في 2012 حزمنا العدو في فانتو يا جونكور اوكي وناو جيش السودان الموجود في جنوب السودان ليه لان نحن مقسمين لكن لو وحده ما في زول دخل كنا في جنوب السودان سو الوحده دائما هو الباور بتاعنا انا I am believe in unity because in unity is a power. So I really want to see SPLA unification again. I want to see Fakana more inside there. I want to see Mama Nyaden as I saw here yesterday. So أنا متأكد بأنه رجوع الحزب لجوبا كبر جميل جدا لكل شعب جنوب السودان لأنه في أمل الشباب بتاعنا يا جونكو 9 مليون 9000
اوكي
خريجين في مصر ما عندهم شغل. رجوع الأعزاء معناته هيكون في سلام انتوا في امريكا ناس عندي شركات نحن في اوروبا عندي شركات
داير اقول حاجه
فرصه للشعب يشتغل ويرتاحوا ليش زي اي شعب في اوروبا
داير اضيف لك حاجه في النقطه بتاعك we don't have any problem with unification of the SPLM party we don't have any problem the question is South Sudan going to be a multi party that's the question is SPLM party is going to allow competition others to arise or are they going to dominance and impose whatever they have been imposed on the people that's the question
yeah it's a سؤال اسمع ادينا يا خلينا نمشي سؤال very easy I told you before 2013 we have SPLM government 90% from SPLM and 10% from other parties so we have a room to democracy when we don't have a fight اصل الجنوبيين ما عندهم مشكله يا اخي الجنوبيين بيحبوا بعض يا كاميرا لو ما في عدو اللي بيزرع علينا شراره في داخل الجنوب ما عندهم مشكله نحن عندنا عدو بتاعنا قال ولا the root cause of problem is not South Sudanese is come outside there قبل 2013 كان في تقريبا 12 حزب كانوا شغالين بحركه شعبيه and it's not to happen again لما نحن نكون يا اخي اهم حاجه نحن نكون جوا بس نتكلم برامج الجنوبيين نقفل الباب لحاجه اسمه مجتمع دولي ولا شمال ولا يو سي انه ما في اي مشكله بيننا المهم بالنسبه لي انا متفائل جدا جدا رجوع الحزب في جوبا معناته ما في موت معناته في ديمقراطيه معناته نحن هنمشي في انتخابات
شكرا
وشعب جنوب السودان بيحكم ده منو ممكن يدير جنوب السودان بطريقه الجنوبيين دايرينه شكرا لك يا جونكو فرصه وين تعبان كده داير امشي
شكرا جزيلا دكتور مدود للمداخله it was good having you on the show today thank you so let me move forward I hope journalist Nhial Bol is here. I hope so. If you are here, go ahead and send me a request. Right? I hope you are here. And also another nowhere. Emmanuel Manyang, what I said, anyone can disagree with me, no problem. You can say, Jongkor, what you're saying is not true. But I want you to prove me that what I'm saying is not true. And that's why I'm inviting people. You are welcome to send in a request too and challenge me. Actually, I accept people to challenge me. You challenge me, but don't insult. There is a difference between challenging and insulting. في فرق بين انك يعني تكون نقد بناء okay constructive criticism then insulting somebody then انت تمشي تشتم then تقول للناس ديل نسوان وديل شنو وديل شنو. You don't need to do that. انت لو سياسي مثقف don't insult people. Come and confront them with your logic بمنطق بتاعك. That's what we condone here. But insult, it has no place, you know. So I'm not saying that, you know, I can block you because انت قاعد تناقضني. كم ناس بيناقضوني؟ انا ما قاعد اتفق مع دكتور مدود، انا ما قاعد اتفق مع ناس كثيرين، ما قاعد اتفق مع برادر هنا ليه انا ما عملت لهم بلاك؟ because بينقضوا والنقد بناء ما بيشتم اي زول لما يجي يشو هنا. الناس بيجي هنا they have disagreement with me. That's fine, we can disagree. That's the human nature. I'm inviting you to just request, come. You know, if you are politically mature, that's what I would do. Request and come and challenge me. Tell me, Jongkor, you are wrong, A, B, C, and D, and we are right in the government, A, B, and C, and D. And that's what we want. That's kind of discussion we need. But do not insult, brother. I gave you advice. It's not good. It's not a good culture, right? Okay. Let me go ahead and see who is next. Makira, I tried, but it didn't work. I don't know, you know, what's wrong. All right, let me go ahead here and bring in Ustad Nhial Bol Aken is here right now, so we can have a discussion together. So I'm calling you right now, Ustad Nhial Bol Aken. Go ahead and answer that. Hopefully the network will cooperate. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Alan Beg, Ustad Aken, good to see you. Yeah, I'm doing good. Welcome to Constitution.
I try to question.
Tamam. Yeah, we're good. Nana question.
I catch up with some of the debates.
One more time. Our show. I really want to thank you for doing this, for being part of the discussion always with your valued perspective. So, Ustad Nhial Bol, as you can see there, our topic today, or the question of discussion today, it said, with the returns of former political detainees plus other political forces, is South Sudan going to be a multi-party democracy, or is it going to remain one-party dominance by SPLM? So that's the question of today. We can just go around it and discuss it together. Go ahead. I hope the network is cooperating.
Well,
I hope you're hearing me very well.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. But
okay.
What I know so far, Juba is our Cambodia right to return home. Whenever there is security and there is a possibility.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know the network. Too much electronic. Time. Especially Khartoum now is shutting down the network for the users. So it's going to be quite challenging for him. But hopefully... Okay. Go ahead and set it one more time. Just Nhial Bol. Set it one more time. Set it one more time. Hopefully you set it in again. call Ability Sean to come and weigh in as well. And please, guys, if you have an echo on your phone, you may use the headphone to eliminate the echo. So I'm calling you right now. Ability Sean, go ahead and answer. I'm calling you right now. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Comrade Jongkor, how are you?
I am doing great. Good to see you. And go ahead.
I am excited to be on your show for the first time. Thank you.
I certainly see that.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, sir. And yeah, welcome one more time.
Well, I will go straight into it. I think the question is clear, and I would say the return of our brothers and sisters to our country is not a bad thing.
Correct.
I think it is a blessing, a 2019 blessing to South Sudan. This will give our people an opportunity to actually enjoy peace and to heal wounds, and also to focus on reconciliation.
All right.
I think it is also an opportunity for our country to enjoy stability and also economic development, because if we are not going to be fighting each other, then there is going to be a chance for us to attract investment to South Sudan and also to focus on developmental projects.
All right.
But I think the third important issue is also the fact that we are going to enjoy a special recognition from the international community. It seems like there is a disdain from the international community that we cannot govern ourselves. That whenever we come together, Kajunovin, we always fight. And I think this time, the president has made it a priority to actually prioritize peace. And I think he has conceded so much in the name of the people of South Sudan and South Sudanese, and also the Sudan as South Sudan as a country, and to embrace his brothers and sisters to come back to the country and to help build our nation. The question of multipartyism. Well, I am a member of SPLM. I don't think multipartyism is bad for SPLM. It is not a threat to SPLM. In fact, it is an advantage for SPLM, because we are going to be competing against small and weaker parties. But as an African, and Pan-Africanist for that matter, I think it is bad for Africa, because multipartyism in Africa encourages tribalism. Our people seem to join parties based on tribal affiliations and solidarity. People would not join parties because they believe in principle and the values of the party. We could see, for example, now the SPLM-DC, the SPLM-IO, and many, many other parties. You know, members are flocking to these parties based on tribes. And this is actually the threat to the unity of our country. And I think it's a threat to unity anywhere in Africa. Because if people join parties based on tribal affiliations, then comes election time and your party doesn't win, the argument would be that we are cheated by the other party because we are from such a tribe. Correct. And this could lead to a conflict. So I think South Sudan would be better off with 2 or 3 big and effective parties. You know, with this peace agreement right now, Jongkor, and the subsequent elections that are going to be held in maybe 2-3 years, South Sudan is going to be a representative democracy. You and I are going to be represented by the people that we elect. to decide for us. And so it is important that the constitution of South Sudan is going to maybe give powers to the people instead to the president or the governors. That is important than many parties that are not delivering, because the question here is the delivery of social services to the people, as well as economic services to the people. But at the core is the idea of the unity. Had SPLA not united during the liberation struggle, we could have not defeated our primary enemy. So we need to be united along 2 or 3 parties. Jongkor and I can be in one party. There's no problem, because we believe in the principles of that party. Somebody from a Choli land could be united with somebody from Jonglei State, or the Unity State for that matter, based on the principle of that parties and their values.
Correct.
But if we join parties, we have 20, 30, 80 parties. But then I joined Jongkor because he's a Dinka, or he's from Malwal, and he's from my tribe. We are going to be, brothers and sisters from one tribe. That is dangerous to the development of our country, and it is a threat to peace and unity in our country. And with that in mind, if we encourage that, then we are not going to enjoy peace, because times and times again we are going to engage in minor conflicts.
Ability show, thank you so much. And actually, yes, it's the first time for you to join Concerned Citizen of South Sudan live. And if I could be wrong, if I mistake, maybe you are representing government somehow, somewhere here in the United States. Is that correct?
No, I am just a concerned citizen like yourself. I have no official position with the government. Okay. But in most cases, I am a big supporter of the government.
Yeah,
and I am a member of the SPLM. So in most cases, you see me talking about the SPLM and the and South Sudan and President Kiir and all that, and people with perceptions would think that I am employed by the government, but currently I am not. Actually I look at myself as an ambassador at large for South Sudan. Great. I have no portfolio.
Okay, I'm not gonna go ahead and speculate. I know that I will take word from your mouth. You said it. You don't represent the government, but you are a concerned citizen. Yeah, and you are a concerned citizen like myself as well. So, Ability Show, I really thank you. This is what I have been saying. In a state, of just people using bad words, we need to debate. We need to have a conversation. When we have a conversation, what you're saying actually, it might convince me, and what I'm saying, it might convince you. That's how we can build the nation. That's how we can progress in democracy. Now, my brother, I really appreciate you again for coming on. I have 2 questions here. But one question, actually, you answered it partially. But since you said, yes, in South Sudan, actually, we will not encourage the idea that we have so many parties. But if we have 2 or 3, that would be okay, because we don't want to encourage, the notion that in Africa, people always, when they register in the party, they go based on their tribal line. It doesn't work that way. So you kind of, technically answered that question. And since you said that we need 2 or 3, that's fine. That's still multi-party. Here in the United States, we have 2 main parties. There's a little smaller one, but we have Republican Party and Democratic Party, and they are competing, and that's fine. Now, my next question here for you, you talk about the peace. And you said that we need to, to give ground for the peace, and FDs and other political forces going back home actually is a good thing. And South Sudan will be recognized, internationally for governing itself. My brother, Ability Shoal, don't you see that there is something wrong with peace right now, because we are behind schedule? 4 months is going to be 5 months very soon. So what is that? What does that speak to you? When we signed a peace deal and we said, okay, let's throw our support on the peace deal, and then yet they are not doing it in the way they're supposed to be doing it, because people of South Sudan are yearning for peace. But now they are behind 4 months and a half. What is that? What does that tell you?
Well, I think what happened in the first place was the fact that the people outside South Sudan or the opposition did not actually received the goodwill from the president and the government with good intentions. They kind of hesitated. They didn't know whether it was going to work or not. They thought that the president did not mean what he says when he said that I have forgiven everyone and I need everyone to come back home for peace. I need everyone to sign and join the people of South Sudan because, you know, there is too much suffering in the country. People are dying in our country and for no good reason. So these assurances were not enough to the oppositions. And the opposition kind of dragged their feet to the negotiating table. This actually delayed the implementation. If you remember, I think you had some guests on your show.
Yes.
When President invited Dr. Riek Machar to come to Juba for a peace celebration, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's a trap. The president doesn't mean it. People actually want to send fear to Riek Machar not to come to Juba. But I should give credits to where the credits are due. Riek Machar actually he decided to go to Juba despite the fact that many, including from his own party, did not want him to go. And you see what I think you witnessed what happened. He went to Juba, the celebration went well, he went back to Khartoum, and now all of a sudden everybody is coming to Juba. Juba has been quiet for quite a while. People can actually witness peace in Juba. So I think the delay came from this notion that we don't want to go to Juba because maybe the government is not sincere enough. But now our people have realized that the government actually want peace to come to South Sudan. And the government embraces every South Sudanese, whether you are a leader or just a citizen, to come back home to contribute to the development of our country, and also to bring peace to our suffering population. So I think we are going to go on smoothly from here now.
Well, Ability Shoal, thank you so much for coming to our program, and thank you for being politically correct. I think, you know, this is the way we need to interact and need to have that conversation. Thank you. And I encourage, you know, and you should encourage others too, you know, to have that conversation. We are not here just, you know, to cry and just, you know, shout and say bad things. We really speak to the mind of the people. That there are real issues that people need to talk about. So I really appreciate you. Your last word, and then I'll let you go, and then I'll bring my guest in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jongkor. I want to urge our people to give peace a chance. It is time for us to reconcile as brothers and sisters. It is time for us to trust our leadership this time and try together. It is time for us not to contribute. It is time for us not to contribute to instability in our country. We want to encourage everyone to at least accept this peace. And we want to encourage everyone to come home or contribute wherever you are in a positive way, so that we are known for peace and development as South Sudanese, so that the international community recognizes that we really wanted to be free when we campaigned for the independence of our country. So I think this time, like the government has been saying so many times, this is our peace to own. And they have been giving an example of a tree, that when a tree is planted, somebody needs to water it. It is now up to all of us South Sudanese to water this tree. And in the next 5-10 years, South Sudan will be a great nation in the community of nations. And South Sudan is going to be known for economic development, and maybe we are going to be the bread basket for Africa. Thank you for the opportunity to host me for the first time. I appreciate the show, and I appreciate the contribution from my brothers and sisters. But let's discuss issues with civility. Let us be respectful to our views and perspectives. We are not going to be alike all the time. Our ideas are not going to be the same, but at least we have to respect them because this is how we shape democracy. And for us to be good citizens, we have to be smart about politics in South Sudan. And we also have to respect the sovereignty of South Sudan. We also have to respect the leadership in South Sudan, be it in the opposition or the government, from President Salva Kiir Mayardit all the way down to our elected officials who are in the parliament. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ability Show. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. So let me go ahead here. It looked like Ustad Nhial Bol, you are back. I'm going to go try one more time, and hopefully it will work this time so we can continue, to get your perspective. So, Malish, network, but Khan Nayan Umag Dirna, but I'm glad that you're back.
Okay. Yeah. I think what we were discussing is about the return of the former detainees. That is a very encouraging development, in my opinion, for them to return to their home. They were supposed not even to leave. They don't have a military wing for the political activities. But because of certain situation in the country where freedom of expression and freedom of assembly are not allowed, they were forced at least to go and rest outside the country. But they're going to Juba, I think, is an encouraging development. The only thing, the same problem that forced them out is still in South Sudan. There is a state of emergency which have not been lifted. Issues to do with political meetings, rallies are not allowed except through a very limited request through the security. These things are there. You can't conduct a meeting in Juba nowadays unless you are given a permission from a special department. They have even created something called political directorate in the national security. And therefore, the idea that we are going to be a democratic society during the transitional period is not possible, because without lifting the state of emergency, without allowing freedom of expression, without allowing freedom of assembly, I think South Sudanese have a long way to discuss their grievances and their issues at the same time. So I think the return as ordinary citizen is welcome, but I don't think they will change the situation in Juba as long as I can observe from here. And then again, if you can remember, the president in most of the cases repeatedly saying that the cause of the war is poverty. Did the president plan, or did his government plan to deal with issues of poverty? نحن واحد من المشاكل بتاعنا المشكلة إنه ما في شغل في البلد. We still have a long way to go. So I think there is nothing going to change during this period. I'm not very negative, but that is how I can say it. We are not going to have an easy transitional period. Even us in Iowa, we are planning to go to Juba for dissemination of peace. But if you cannot be allowed even to call for your members, what will you achieve? We are going to end up either being detained or another confrontation is going to happen. The government, if the government is really sincere to implement the agreement, the first thing is to lift the state of emergency, to actually to lift the censorship on the media, to allow people to move as they want. You cannot travel from Juba up to Wow without being checked and intimidated on your way. So I think there is a difficult situation to implement this agreement. We are wishing, because even what they are implementing is not what they be required by the agreement. And then again, the government have changed its mind now. The government was very adamant for the one army, and it was the government which was pushing for the formation of one army. But now they say they cannot take their soldiers to the containment area where they are going to have a joint doctorate, a joint training. Now the government have changed. So we are going back to two national armies or more. These are some of the challenges we are going to face. The second thing, there are certain communities like in northern Barghazal, people are repeatedly complaining that there is a hunger. And nobody is responding. This by itself is going to develop into insecurity, because these people at the end of the day, they will resort to acquire weapons in the neighboring countries, either Chad or Sudan or anywhere. And then they will cause insecurity, not necessarily rebellions. So why are we not addressing or planning how to provide food to the people who are affected by hunger or people who are displaced by war and all these things? So I think there is a very poor planning in the implementation of the pre-interim period, pre-transitional period actually. So I think we are not going to have a smooth situation in the implementation. Returning home is a normal situation. I was in Juba until I was called to Khartoum here to participate in certain organizational issues. But the politicians are not supposed to leave the country. You can stay at home and discuss your issues. Our issue is that the government think too much about this agreement and believe very little about its implementation. How can you implement the agreement when there is a state of emergency, when the prisoners of war are not released, and you have committed yourself to this thing? Then again, during the negotiation, the government that they are going to have one national army. Now they are refusing to have one. So I don't know how we are going to implement this thing, but I'm of the opinion that people may go back to war because the environment is not conducive.
Yes. So, South Nhial Bol Aken, now, you know, you spoke about there's so many things. A state of emergency was not lifted, and then gathering is not allowed. And then you have to have sort of, you know, permission somewhere. If you want to travel from place to place, you will not be allowed. You've been checked, you know, hundreds times. So now, SPLM IO signed a deal with the government, and all of a sudden they are going. And as far as I know, that a political party, they can have a meeting, they can have the structure, they can have their fans, they can go and talk and have a rally. Don't you see this is a suicide mission then? Because if you are not allowed, if you are tight-handed, you are not going to speak to your, you know, supporters. You are not going to conduct the meeting, state of emergency, and yet you are saying that, oh, we are going anywhere because it's going to happen. Don't you see that is a suicide mission?
You know, from our side politically, I think we don't want to take a risk of complaining. There are more people who are demanding for a lot of things from the government. So instead of being blamed equally with the government, we want the government to be the one to take the responsibility of the failure of this agreement, because what we need to do on our part is to implement what we have agreed. We cannot add anything from outside. If the government implement it, well and good. If not, then it is up to them. That is our strategy, because all the time, IO is being blamed to be the one initiating war and initiating violence. Now, it is a chance for majority of our fellow citizens to speak for themselves. But what I know, the issues are very complicated. The government is not sincere in most of the things. How can you reconcile with the opposition that have taken arms and you forgive them, and then you just don't forgive those who were expressing their opinion in a peaceful manner, like Peter Biar? What is the ground for his detention now. Can you just detain somebody in order to achieve what? When actually there is peace.
Good question.
And also, peace is something to do with psychological thinking. If some people are still in prison, why are we implementing this peace? I think it is not going to work. And even here in Sudan, we are being challenged. What type of agreement is this? Because when during the CPA, all the prisoners of political detainees were detained, including those who were not Southerners. They were all released. So here, I think this issue of peace is becoming a song. It is not long. It is either a song or a comedy film actually to be played, because people are now hacking themselves. People are dancing all over, but the real thing are not there. The put to the arm in the containment is not being provided. So, okay, what will happen if these people take the law into their hand? Will you blame the IO or SAWA or the opposition group? Because the government said they are going to be responsible. Why are you not taking care of your part? So I think there are going to be serious issues. But what we are trying to avoid as a political organization is the blame game. Yeah, we don't want to be blamed for what the other party is doing. On our side, we are doing it in a proper way, but it is up to the other parties to decide for themselves.
Yeah, you know, that's make a lot of sense. At the same time, you know, we have been raising a legitimate question. And when we raise a legitimate question, we question the genesis of the peace implementation. Now they are behind almost 5 months. And those who are in the government, they think we are making noise, and actually we are against the peace, and we are sabotaging, we are spoilers, we are creating more problems. Don't you see that it is necessarily for civil society to raise a legitimate question if things are not going right in the country?
How do they raise it? And because the issue is that there is a written agreement with the metrics details. Yes. Now, each of us, like our forces were asked to go to the containment, they are now in their assembly point without food and without anything to depend. And these are people with guns in their hand. What will happen if they start to misbehave to close road? Because those who are carrying guns in Juba, they were killing people at night in order to survive. Don't you think that the opposition forces will do the same? Don't you think that the citizens who are facing hunger in some part of South Sudan will take arms into their hand and block the roads or even attack people on their ways? I think peace is supposed to be to everybody, including those who are not who have not signed the agreement. We are just begging the government, please, you respond to what you have agreed. We are not asking for more. Yeah, but if they don't want, what is the point of not lifting the state of emergency when actually they agree? What is the point of not providing food to the army, which the government was the one demanding it? Now we are going back to the two armies, and when they form a government, you never know, all the opposition parties will demand to take their forces to Juba, because there is no another way you can go to Juba without protection. So I think things are not that normal.
But
so I think
correct. My question.
Yeah.
With that, to start Nhial Bol, the government have agreed for the peace agreement. They have called IO to come and celebrate in Juba. We have seen that Dr. Riek Machar went there. They asked them to take.
I was there with Dr. Riek.
Yeah, and they asked them to take their forces to containment area, and yet nothing is moving forward. All the committee are delayed. No fund, no food. So what do you think they are doing? What's going on? What tactic are they doing? What strategy are they doing, in your own opinion?
The government is using this agreement to start the next war, because there is no peace that can be implemented in this nature, because you can't ignore somebody who is carrying a gun. Even if you are an enemy and you need at least to have a peace, you provide food and you have to provide water and all these things. And then again, why don't you address the humanitarian crisis in some part of South Sudan? I was yesterday in Jebel Aouli here. People are coming in a big number from northern Barakazal because of anger.
Yes.
What will happen in the next 6 months? Can you not call for international community to deliver food? And all these things, do they need the opposition to contribute when actually it just needs a public appealing to the donors to provide food or medicine to the needing? But they are sitting as there is nothing. They can't bas Afgar da kalofe murao kalas mafia haja bejum. But I think there is a challenge for this peace to survive. I don't know, because politics is an art of possibilities and impossibilities. So we are just watching to what will happen. But things are not moving in the right direction. Even if we increase our speed, the 8 months period for the pre-interim period is not going to be met unless we have to extend it again. And if we extend it, then already doubting is starting. And the new rebel group who might not be interested in this, they will get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Ustaz Nhial Bol Aken, you already mentioned a lot of things. You mentioned my home state or my home region of Northern Barakazal. People are migrating every single day in big number to cross to Sudan, just to seek, simple living, to seek a simple living. Sudan has their own problems too, but at least, you can get some, to survive. Now, Mr. President is in charge. I don't doubt his patriot fighting for the people of South Sudan for 38 years, in Nyanya 1, in the liberation. But what's going on? How does he feel?
But what's going
Give
on?
me a
How
sense.
does he
How does
feel?
he feel when these
Just give
people
me
are
a sense.
hungry
How does he
for
feel when
peace,
these people are
building in his country, and
no
he's in
peace,
J1,
no is
and
built in
he's
his
the red
country,
carpet?
and he
How
is
does
in
he feel?
J1, and he is the red carpet? How does he feel?
Well, I think, I don't know, because I never worked under him before, but my reading of the situation is that he thinks that whoever come from the Dinka regions is just like his personal property. We cannot be cannot misbehave on all these things. Otherwise, this situation of North Gazal, and it should not continue for the sake of humanity. It happened like this in 1984 when the Bagara and the Arab tribes were attacking northern Barghazal. People of Awil were complaining, those of Aldo, Joe, and everybody here, they were complaining to the central government that, look, there is something wrong in our region. People are being killed unnecessary. The government was not listening. So what happened? The youth of Awil, they have to walk all the way to Bilpam, and that gave a really power to SPLA. I think, and this situation is very relevant. If the people of Awil rebel against the government, it will be because of hunger in the area. And you cannot ignore such a situation, because people cannot run away from just for luxuries. They are here for survival. And I think nobody knows what will happen to this area in the long run. But I believe, I don't know, the president have his own reason of not doing this thing. And then again, what will happen if the army are not given food as required by the agreement? They will not attack the IO area anymore. They will just move to the towns where the government is, because their budget is with the government. And then we know the oil production is increasing. Why are they not they have enough manning now, because the reason was that the manning were being used at war. Now there's no war. Why are you not paying salaries? Why are you not buying food to the army? Now you are not giving them food. What will happen if they become a full-time employees in the payroll of the army? What will happen? I think we have a long way to go with this.
I see that. Don't you see they are using the tactic of NCP, Mu'tamar Watani, when they came to power in 1989? Al Bigul Jawe Kalbak, yet back. And that's how they succeeded, because they were actually, restricting everybody from anything, siyasa tamkin. Don't you think the government here is using that tactic? So now the IO are on the side, nothing they can do. They will just surrender because they're going to be hunger, no food, nothing. Don't you see that?
No, the IO have nothing to lose. First of all, we don't have salaries. We are not paying anything to anybody. And then the government have taken the burden of the army. Now they are in the camps. It is no longer the responsibility of the IO anymore. We are telling the government, let us try to find a means of solving the problem. If they need our contribution, we give them their ideas. But as I'm talking, all the posts, wherever they are, they belong to the government, as the government demanded it during the negotiation. So it is up to them. And they are South Sudanese, they know how to demand for they need answers to their grievances. So it is no longer our concern. But the issue, you cannot deprive somebody who is not working in the first place. We don't care. Like here, we are now living in Khartoum. Nobody is financing us. We are not even lobbying for money. We are just surviving from our relatives all over the world, and then we will just wait and see. But what about the government? What are they doing with oil money? Where are they? Because Michael McQuaid, the Minister of Information, one time said, if the war is stopped, they will pay all the salaries. And we thought that within these 8 months, they will clear all their salaries issues. Now, it is 4 months on the road, and they did not resolve anything. Nothing has changed. And instead, they are thinking for buying the new cars for the government, renovating the houses. How can you renovate the houses or buy new cars when you cannot feed your own citizen? Can you not drop food in northern Barghazal, at least to children and women and poor and the elders? I think we have to think how to plan. Actually, it is a poor planning to think of somebody who is capable of handling his or her life, but you ignore the poor. So I think it is not NCP tactics. It is just a kind of encouraging anarchy. Otherwise, you cannot ignore all your citizens in this way. We have the embassy here. There is no single day the government sent a delegation to visit the refugees camp in Western Sudan, in Khartoum here, or even in Abyei or in other areas. So I think the danger they will face, but it is a very disappointed situation to all of us who are here.
Ustaz Nhial Bol, I really appreciate you for coming on and speaking to us. The former, editor-in-chief of the newspaper Citizen in Juba. Kunta Maana min al-Khartoum. I want you to say the last word, and then I will let you go, sir. Your advice to this government.
Okay. I think the last word to this government, the implementation of the agreement is not, it should not be implementing through dancing. It should be a real, and I want to appeal to the government to pay at least attention to people of Northern Barghazal, because this hunger, whenever there is a problem anywhere, it affects everybody anywhere. So I think we are all affected psychologically, politically. We are all affected because Khartoum has become like it was in 1980s when the war intensified. Everybody have returned with their children, and this time around it is even worse. So I'm appealing to the government to provide food to the needing in Awil and in another part of Barghazal where people are facing hunger. And then I also I want to appeal to the government to look into the issue of the army in the cantonment. Otherwise, if they take laws to their hand, we are all going to suffer. I think that is the last message I want to.
Well, Ustaz Nhial Bol Aken, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. It was good having you. Please stick around. If you have time, you may come back. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm around.
Thank you. All right. viewers of concerned citizens of South Sudan. This is the very sad. انتوا شايفين كل يوم لما نحن نتكلم ناس بيقولوا ناس they just make noise بكوركو احنا قاعدين نقول يا جماعه these people, those who are sitting in J1, they are not interested. They are not. ما في feeling, ما في شعور, you know, ما في شعور بالوطنية. There is no sense of patriotism. ما ممكن يالك بيموتوا. يعني it's not necessary to be your own children اللي انت ولدتهم, you know, من صلبك, لكن أبناء بلدك اللي انت يعني مسؤول بهم. They are crossing the border. They are dying from hunger, from disease, from the war. And yet you are sitting there in J1 and you don't even care. Well, بغيظني you can see, you know, the leader, whatever so-called, you know, the community leaders, you know, they are just rushing to J1. Oh, and then today we met with the president, it was fruitful. Fruitful in what? Fruitful, and your people are dying. What fruitful are you talking about? The same thing with the youth. يعني الناس قسم أنفسهم, you know, في ظهر ناس. It's not going to help. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help me. And البزيل أكتر people here in this country, people who in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, بيمشوا just simply because they want to hang out there, they're just looking for an opportunity, and they know what is wrong and they don't want to speak up for that. Can you just have that sense of human? But being a human, بس ناس بيموتوا. يا أخي, I want to put this problem to the end. كل يوم قروش بيجي. You are selling oil every day. Why don't you provide food to your own people? Like as a journalist, you know, veteran journalist said, why don't you just give them food? Just drop them a food. Adim, خليهم ياكلوا. And then Barketa solve the problem. Does that hurt you to feed your people, to help your people? Because you're the one that created all this instability, and then now they are suffering. I know when we talk here, we are not just speaking out of our mind because we know there is a big challenge, there is a problem there. And because we love this country, that's why we speak. That's why we speak. You know what? I have a good car, V8. I have a job. My kids are going to better school. I eat 3 meals, or it can be 4 or 8, whatever, you know, a day. I should have kept quiet and shut up. No, I am not selfish. That's why I'm doing this. The thing is, I'm not selfish. I love you. And I love Hatta Zol al-Ghani Dezato. Hatta those arrogant, I love them. We want them to be fair to their people. We want them to be just to their people. That's why we keep raising our voice. It's so sad. But it's going to get worse. So let me go ahead and see who are those who send me a request. And then I'll bring them in as well. And then we'll move on. All right. Daniel Ater, I'm calling you, Daniel Ater. Daniel, I'm calling you. Hello.
Yes.
Good to see you, Professor Daniel. And I assume that you are live from Nairobi.
Live in Adelaide. I arrived on the 31st.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's good to see you, brother. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, it's very important. I really appreciate journalist Nhial Bol Aken, the way he really put it, and this is what we want. What we are putting across as the concerned citizen of South Sudan, as you put it in your forum, is really very important. Let me tell everyone Happy New Year. This is Dr. Daniel Konate talking to you. Actually, I arrived here on the 31st on Monday. We've been speaking Nairobi with you. So thank you very much. What is important in your question is South Sudan going to be multi-party democratic country with the return of these people, with the return of the FDs, the former detainees,
and other oppositions?
I will take a different scenario, but it's still the same thing.
No.
What I really appreciate in this forum and in this topic is one, the people of South Sudan.
Go ahead.
The most important thing is what is called the livelihood survival. How are they going to survive? Because we have seen our people there along every border of every country. Now, is this agreement holding? That's the next question apart from this. So if we go back to the agreement itself, we say it's a beautiful agreement, yes, in terms of paper, signing it. But the implementation, how do you call it, the goodwill from the side of the other side of the government. Let me say the side of government, not call other. Like when the celebration was done on the 31st of September. I don't think it was just premature, you know.
In November.
Telling it was premature on the side of the government. And because how do you celebrate a child who is not born? Because implementation matrix, those issues that we have now agreed, but we need to go down to make sure we define each one by one.
Yes.
So that you give them the meaning. You know, have a certain set of skills. Like we are saying now, we must have some cantonment everywhere. Okay, the government will be this, and we have this, all these vice president. What are the meanings? What are the definitions of every person's responsibility? So that we don't go back to such issue because our people are suffering. Leaders always compromise because a winning person is a person who compromises.
Yes.
Not a person who fight to the last dot. Even when we say we are good, and on the way you leave dot in the middle of your goodness, and then that does not define you to be a good person. What we need is the honesty in this. So to me, as a person in the finance area, in accounting and all this, and politics, which is called, we put in political science issues in between. What is the definition? Do we have a goodwill as people of South Sudan? Especially the government, because the person holding the instrument of power is the government. How do you bring us in? This is a question that should be asked. Our people are suffering everywhere. So in the real sense, there's no goodwill on the side of the government of South Sudan. There's no goodwill at all. If there was a goodwill, we should have really wait and sit down together and say, okay, we agree on the 12th of September, we sign the agreement. That is what is called just a blanket. We try to cover issues up. But we should have gone down now, set up all the committees before we celebrate. And bring the day for celebration should have been the day that we have formed the government of national unity, the transitional government. And transitional government with all these agreements should have watered down to the new constitution. So the issue of the multipartyism in South Sudan is not the issue now. SPLM has been used like a child, like a firstborn child that you love by all members of the family, by both sides. But even if you give us other children, your in-law will say, oh, my daughter, what did you get? Oh, I got so and so. You see? So we really need to go down to the realities of what is in the agreement. Yes. So the issues in the agreement have been portrayed already now, as Nhial Bol Aken put it already. The government demand that we agree and we get our forces to the ground, we agree, we sit together. All the military commanders now, they busy each other. You can see them on the social media, they're together. But the real sense is this. What about the soldiers on the ground? If they have got nothing to eat, if they have got nowhere to sleep, is that an agreement? So these are the issues that we are concerned. So to me, my take is one. We, the people of South Sudan, outside or within the country, we should raise our head up and talk, like what you are doing now. We are hearing our views. What I used to put across, I used to say, it is not easy for us to put the government in power out of the power because we have got armed. It cannot happen. Because, number one, a government which is holding all the resources, like what have been happening in Khartoum until we reach an agreement in 2005. It was not easy, but it was a compromise on the table. The trust is what needs to be built between the two principles. Two principles build the truth, the trust among them. Like, for example, that the former detainees are in Juba, they went on the 20, they went to Juba on the 22nd. That was on Saturday, I was in Nairobi. they were received. You can see the body language and the way they greet each other. It's okay. So the most important thing that we need to look into in this forum or whatever it's telling the people of South Sudan, if you are neutral, you are more dangerous than the person who have taken a side.
Why?
We don't want people in between.
Why? Why is that? Because I personally consider myself a neutral. I'm sorry, it looked like, somebody called him there, but I want him to get so distracted. So go ahead, Dr. Daniel, go ahead and send it back in, and then I can, I can let you finish your point of view. Dr. Daniel, send it to me, please. Go ahead and send it, and I'll bring you back. Dr. Daniel, tell. This is very, very important. Dr. Daniel Ater, I'm still waiting for you. Okay. I see that you requested again.
Very sorry.
I'm sorry somebody called you, but we were in between. When you said that, those actually who are in between, who don't have any side, are the most dangerous. Why is that, Dr. Daniel? I consider myself a neutral person. Go
very
ahead.
true, which is okay, which is good. Okay, people in the press, journalists, they are there to get out the truth because the community live on the news from the outlet. Because journalists are there to audit what we say as politicians. So your neutrality as a concerned citizen group is not questionable. It is we who are not in any forum. We need to get out because sometimes, like for example, I'm conducting research. Research I'm conducting here now is to find out exactly what is the contribution of diasporas in South Sudan. And I survey a lot in Nairobi that the houses which are still alive, people are still living in Nairobi or in other part of Kenya or other part of Uganda. They are still renting and kids are in school because of the people in diaspora.
Correct.
And then the contribution we need to put in. That's why we need to question our role. And that's what I'm saying. If someone say, oh, if you criticize the government or you are not a good person, those are called psychopaths. A government belongs to the people.
Psychopaths. I like that word.
Psychopath. A government belongs to the people. Even in Nairobi, I have a very good joint. I used to sit in Nairobi, but I never sit there anymore because it has been the places have been intruded by the people who are just psychopaths of some few individuals, maybe $100, all this. It doesn't make sense. What is important is our sovereignty for South Sudan because we fought to have a nation which is built on accountability and justice and transparency and national cohesion. This is what we want. So to me, I usually tell people, like I can see a lot of my friends here, my best friend who are just across the world, they're on your show. So what is important for us as people of South Sudan, we need to embrace what is called a cohesion. It's called a nationalism. There will be no nation that call a nation belong to the people of Upper Nile alone. There will be no nation belong to the people of Barghazal. There will be no nation belong to the people of Equatoria. All of us, we are three. It's like when you are cooking, you have to have 3 stones.
Correct.
And in Kenya, Kikuyu, they say, one of the number 1 is politics. Number 2 is wealth. Number 3 is population. And that's why they win every election in every single day. Okay, as people of South Sudan, doesn't mean that if we, the Dinkas or the Mwanjang, that when we are in leadership, would South Sudan be peaceful? That's not true. What is important, a chance is not because we are distributing leadership. Even we in Upper Nile, very few Monja in Upper Nile, the most important thing is how we play our cards within the domain, within the majority.
Correct.
How we get it. So to me, I do believe we are not looking in the issue of multipartyism right now, but what is important is their willingness to implement this agreement. This agreement is going to born a very new and very fresh constitution of South Sudan, whereby everyone can dance anywhere. But the sycophants are dancing everywhere, which in the real sense, if we go back to South Sudan, we are going to do a lot of audit. In 2013 issues, every state we are going to do a lot of audits. A lot of audits. Whether it will be over 10 years or over 15 years, we do audits. Because there are people who have misused government resources within that situation. So our time is not for multipartyism. It's implementation. Is the government honest to implement this agreement? Which I'm not sure. It is not. To me, I will say not. Because you cannot start thinking the song somewhere dancing and you are not putting things in place. Right now in Juba, getting a passport is not easy because why they say, oh, the money has not been paid or the company has not been paid. But there are few individuals that getting dollars, getting even passport, and the vast majority want to come to East Africa, other country for treatment, they cannot get the passport, which is something they can contribute to the government of South Sudan in terms of revenue. Now you can see in social media whether it was a miss or it is true that South Sudan is going to bring teachers from Zimbabwe. You see now. Now, if you look at that, it means the country is being run. There's another government within the South Sudan, which J1 don't but know exactly there's another government within. So to me, I will not take long to engage everybody, but it's touching these issues. Our government or the government of South Sudan, headed by Salva Kiir Mayardit, is not interested in implementing this. It has to be used 24 hours. And in fact, they are very scared. They are very scared of why these young people went to the Western countries. You see, it's the war they're fighting. It's the war they're fighting. They're not fighting the real war. The real war should be the war of poverty. Why our people are still living in such shanties. When I calculate how much the oil brings, with our 12 million people approximately, people of South Sudan, each person would have been getting $1,000 every month without working. If you multiply that, how much is it? 12 million people by 1,000. It becomes 12 billion US. So each person get a million. So mismanagement and this piece is being used as pretext. It's a pretext of calling the international community to bring money. You cannot call to bring money before actually you clean your house. So I think all these are just, I think we are joking, we are dancing on a wrong tune.
Thank you. Dr. Daniel Latter, it was good having you, but actually I'm planning a day to have a discussion live with the people of South Sudan. Be ready, and I'm planning that day. Thank you so much for joining us. It was good having you. You stayed late night there in Adelaide, Australia. I know that it's almost 3 a.m. right now in Adelaide, but because you love your country, you love your people, that's why you wanted to be part of this discussion. Thank you so much, and try to have good sleep, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me go ahead here and bring you in, Dr. Sunday, because you have been waiting for quite a bit and it's already getting late. And yeah, Jamal, send in your request. Dr. Sunday, can you send in a request? Let me go ahead. Baltura, I saw you. I'll bring you, but let me go ahead and bring Dr. Sunday because it's late night for him now. And I'll bring you as well. Dr. Sunday Dijon, please go ahead and answer that. And so we can let you go to bed. calling you right now. Everyone will get an opportunity. Dr. Sunday, I'm calling you. Sunday Dijon, I'm calling you. Please go ahead and answer. Let's keep adding up. Hopefully it will work. You know, sometimes network is not cooperating there. So I'm calling you. Actually, there is no answer, Dr. Sunday Dijon. Hopefully you will answer that. I will call you as well, Brother Emmanuel. Go ahead and answer. Hey, keep adding up. I don't know why. It's not ringing there or what's going on. I don't understand. Go ahead and answer, Dr. Sunday Dijon. I'm calling you. It has been ringing for quite a bit. Adding. It's not answering. I don't know. Maybe the network is low there. So it looks like it's not working for Dr. Sunday. Paul, I'm calling you. Go ahead and answer. Okay. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, Paul. It's good to have you one more time. Go ahead with your insight.
Thank you so much, Jongkor, and thank you for having me on Concerned Citizen show. Let me go straight to the point about the return of the former political detainees. This is the only group of South Sudanese politicians where you can find intellectuals, the true freedom fighters, politicians. This is the only group where you can find a true leader. And now they are back to the country. And however, you cannot rule out the fact that this is also a group that has a lot of negative things about this country. The 75 names of the corrupt individuals are also in this group. This is also the group who also lost the vision of the SPLM as a political party. From 2005, they were part of the ruling system. They were the ruling clique. They were in the charge of our affairs, but they failed. All we could hear during those times was blame that the NCP has done this, the NCP has done that, the NCP has done this. But after we got independent on our own, they failed to live according to their expectations, because we thought the group that has been blaming the shortcomings of the NCP will do something different from from the NCP, but in fact, they became worse than the NCP itself. Now, Jongkor, they are back to the peace. And then we are watching them. Maybe they will do something different from what they have been doing from 2005 to 2013. But also, have you ever stopped to question yourself? This is also the group that has a political candidates. One of them is Pagana Moam, who also want to be a president. Another person is Nyandeng. Another person is Dr. Majak. All of them, three of them also are political aspirants. They also want to contest with the president at the party. Again, this is the group that has failed from 2013 up to 2019 now. They failed to form a political entity. And then, therefore, they call themselves former detainee. Is former detainee a political party? No, it is not a political party. I was arrested because of what I did, and then I start calling myself that I'm a former detainee. These guys are failures. However, we welcome them. This is our country. We need peace at large. We need peace in our country so that we can grow as a nation, so that the young generation also should come up, get a better education, better jobs, and a better life. We welcome them. But this is also a time for our people also to look at them straight into the eyes and say, guys, it's time for us. We need a new constitution. Go ahead, implement this peace, but we need a new constitution. We need a census. We also need a political demarcation of administrative areas.
Yes.
We have to know the constitution, the constituencies. In order for us to go for elections. After we have done all these things, if we promulgate a new constitution, therefore we have to go for elections. And let me tell you one thing, the SPLM as a party is going to lose, and it will lose big at this time. Do you know why? The party brought war to this country, regardless of whoever they are. Dr. Riek Machar and Borgon is a member of SPLM, and is part of the clique that has brought war to our country. President Kiir is a chairman of SPLM, is part of the clique that has brought war to the country. Come elections, maybe, I don't know, 2025, the people of South Sudan are not going to vote for SPLM. When you talk about political multipartism, the SPLM is going to lose big, unless people of South Sudan are not ready to form political party to challenge the SPLM. And this is what I want people to do. We have to push the SPLM to write, and the other political parties to write a new constitution, and then we are going to have a new system. And the system must be a parliamentary system, where the members of parliament are voted by the people, and then the members of parliament later on come and vote for the president. And I'm sure majority of members of parliament will not come from SPLM. And if the other parties win big in other areas, President Kiir will lose big in the parliament. If we are going to have a parliamentary system, that's one thing. And if the parliamentary system is not accepted, then we have to write a constitution whereby if a party fails to get 51% of the vote, then there is going to be a rerun. And I'm sure the SPLM will not get 51% if there is going to be a new constitution. And if they fail, all political parties, opposition parties, must join hands and form one coalition ready to challenge the SPLM. And multipartism will not favor SPLM. The SPLM will lose big. The SPLM will lose in Equatoria, Jongkor, because the people of Equatoria are tired of the SPLM at the moment. The SPLM will lose big in Upper Nile because the people of Upper Nile have suffered a lot. The SPLM will also lose in Bahr Ghazal because they have assumption that majority of people in Bahr Ghazal are Dinka, and therefore they will vote for them. What have they done to us in order for us to vote for them?
That's the question.
They have done nothing for us, and therefore they will be in for a rude shock. In 2010, there was an assumption from the SPLM that the people of Northern Bahr Ghazal state will vote for them, and it was a big shock. People voted for independent candidates, right from the state assembly to the national and the governor at the same time. It was only because the party had a military might that they had to send in the army to stop the swearing in of the members of the independent party. And that's how that was denied. And other members of parliament at the state assembly and the national assembly were denied to be sworn in.
Not only that, Bol, in 2012, when the SPLM party sent, their elite to the region to go and assess the grassroots to see how they have been doing since 2005 all the way to 2012. What happened? The result that they came with, they said, we lost the ground. People don't like us. And that's why President Kiir moved toward whatever they call military and all these things, and he started doing all this. Oh, there was a coup. And because they knew they lost the ground, and if there is any election within the SPLM party, he's going to lose bad. And then there will be new leaders rising within that party. And then they start making destruction and all this, causing all these problems. Anyway, I want you, to wrap it up really quick because I have a lot of people called, requested here. They wanted to come in and speak. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jongkor. I don't want to prolong this, but I just want to make it short that it is time for South Sudanese at least to support this peace so that we have a new constitution. And from the new constitution, we are going to have a general elections. And from this election, we are going to defeat the SPLM and we will defeat them big. Thank you, Jongkor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bol, for insight. Let me go ahead here and bring other people here who have been waiting for quite a bit. It was good having you, dear brother. Let me go ahead here and see. Emmanuel, I don't know if it's any request. Emmanuel Jawin, and I don't see it. You disappeared. Okay, I will try you one more time, Dr. Sunday. Emmanuel Jawin, send a request, please. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, the phone.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
But if you have an headphone, I will hear you. Yeah, I have network. I don't know why you're saying I don't have network. It's just my power that has blacked out, but it's coming back in a second.
Okay, go ahead.
You can now see my face.
Correct.
First of all, Happy New Year.
New Year to you.
And I also extend my greetings to all the concerned citizens of South Sudan. I wish them well wherever they are in the worldwide distribution. Today I have also been your guest lately on the topic of concern that you brought up, and it is what you refer to as multi-partyism as far as the former detainees are going back to the country. Jongkor, we always like starting with the definition. And my question would go like this. What is multi-partyism? Multi-partyism is that political situation where several political parties are given the platform to run for elections so that they can win singly or as coalitions. And then now they run the government offices. For the case of South Sudan, the queries are, would South Sudan have a multi-party system? I wouldn't be very much optimistic on the question that has been asked, simply because the fragmentation of the SPLM has been perceived as a birth of multi-party system, but it is not picking.
I think somebody called you.
Yeah. It is not picking up simply because SPLM itself has a tendency to destroy itself.
Yes.
The live example is recently when the peace was signed in 2016, there were two factions of the SPLM beside the old one of Lamakol. The old one of Lamakol was suppressed indeed, that the person called Onyeti was a sufferer of this kind of multi-party system aspect. He has been tortured, he has been mentally subjugated, and has been treated in all sorts of ways that South Sudanese can hurl on somebody. And eventually, there was this breakaway of SPLM that has been led by Dr. Riek Machar Teny, the ones they call SPLM in opposition. And Riek Machar refused to name his party simply because there is this notion that SPLM is a brand name and nobody must go away from it.
Yeah.
And therefore, Riek just put I and O there as per the interest of mediators to put these two parties not as one, but the warring parties, but of the same names. Now, when Riek Machar again was chased away in Juba in 2016, the eventual thing was there was a faction of SPLM-IO that was named after Taban Dengai. This new Taban faction was dissolved without use of wisdom by Taban himself in the interest of returning to the mother SPLM, as was claimed by the Salva Kiir group. But have you heard what happened when Salva Kiir went to Lomonok? He said Taban and Lul have not done their homework well. So their SPLM has been dissolved and it is not recognizable, and I cannot integrate them into the main SPLM per se because it requires the opinion of others. In the real sense, there is nothing called multi-partyism as long as the current regime is concerned. The other political parties has been politically indoctrinated and domesticated to a such level that they become SPLM indirectly. And the good example is that one of Ilia Alomoro. He has opted to be an SPLM indirectly by not denouncing his party, but by working according to the principles of the SPLM. Even if your party has a name and you don't have new principles that would challenge the ones of the SPLM, there is no multi-partyism. It is not all about names. It is all about the programs and objectives that would be used for the service delivery to the societies that are concerned. Multi-partyism will not come until a revolutionary action has taken place so that the regime is curtailed from its dominance in a negative way, because the regime is completely dominant in a bad way. It is destroying the country more than it could have been building it. This SPLM has been brand for all. And it is a right time also to look at it, whether it has failed or it has not failed. You have rightly mentioned it that a grassroots research has mentioned that SPLM was not picking up at the grassroots levels, simply because it has not delivered anything except the liberation struggle, which was even a work of everybody, including the citizens who were providing food and who were transporting the ammunition and all those sorts of things that they have contributed in one way or another. So SPLM need to be rebranded. A regime must be overhauled so that multi-party system can kick in. Otherwise, SPLM is not interested in pluralism on political aspects. That is why they wait until the elections are a few months away, they start a new war to keep themselves in power. Where will other parties sprout when a party that has decided to own an army is existing and is trying to use the army to intimidate the citizens? To intimidate the other political forces that are interested in advancing their agenda. Let me tell you, in 2010 elections, there was apathy. Remember, Lamakol got 7% and Salva Kiir 93%. Jongkor, I was in my rural most part of the country. I was in an area called Panom. This was the port that our recruits used to exit Bahr el Ghazal to Upper Nile through. That is my port, and that is the area where I was to boat in. That is my locality as far as boating is concerned. When I was in Phnom, my dad, my own father, General John Along, had sat there with a lot of troops advising people to vote for Salva Kiir, even by force. My own father, not someone's father. This
Sorry, somebody call him again.
Elections. Are there no spoiled votes or rejected votes? Why 93-7? 93 plus 7 is 100%. Where are the rejected votes? Where are the spoiled votes? Considering the high literacy rate in the country, SPLM has no design program for the progress of South Sudan. That is the reason why we have called for the revolutionary action as South Sudan United Front. At least it has to be changed, because it has no interest in what they call diversity. It is only trying to monopolize the things in a bad way. In a bad way, how? This is a question that a concerned citizen somewhere may ask. What is it that SPLM has done beside the history of liberation struggle? We never take that credit away from SPLM. But is the liberation struggle enough? If we are free from Arabs, if we are free from Arabs, does that bring food on our tables? Does it give us the services like health system and the other ones like the roads? These are questions that are pertinent enough. And if they could be asked so that Salva Kiir could directly answer this, then it would be something else. Because he will not have right answers that he can give to the citizens of South Sudan. Number two, there will be nothing called multipartyism. And the live example is my own self. 2 days ago, I was invited in a community function here in the city of Nairobi. I attended the function, and inside that function, I was waiting to be given my turn, at least to contribute as a member of the community.
Correct.
Not even on political ground. And somebody who happened to be a representative of the embassy opted to stand up and get the microphone and say to the community that, why do you invite rebels to the community function when we, the government, are here? I have not carried a gun there. I was having no intention to shoot at anybody. I was a member of the community. And we have equal rights because he's a citizen. That is why he was there. He was not there because he was from the embassy. Because community does not belong to the government. It belongs to itself. And all of us are pillars of the community. Eventually, he said, if the community would accept, I would be chased away from the function. And I told them right away that you have to accommodate the contrary opinions. That is called multi-party system. You have to listen to me. You have to give me the platform to tell citizens my agenda. Don't block me unless you are afraid. So SPLM is made up of dictators that are coward. They don't want what they called civil work. They would only want to use the might of the gun. And that is why we are calling for a revolutionary action. Our forces, the SPLA forces, they don't belong to Salva Kiir. They belong to South Sudan. And their defined role is to defend the territorial integrity of the country as a whole. But by the end of the day, Salva Kiir has opted to briefcase them. But he has also failed miserably in catering for their needs. A soldier is a human being. He has children that would want to eat. He has children that would want to go to school. He has children that become sick and need medication. He has children that would need to use roads to reach to the other destinations of the country as per their interests on the other parts. But they are confined in trenches, trying to guard the president that is enriching himself with the resources of the country. Currently, as we are speaking, oil is flowing, but the money is brought and taken to J1, not even to the Central Bank of South Sudan. And what happens to that money in J1? It is never dispatched for services. It is divided among the elites, including the likes of Tutkel, who doubles as a son of al-Bashir and also advisor in the Republic of South Sudan. If we are sound, if SPLM is sound, why do they allow people like Tutkel, who do not belong to South Sudan, as per the recent statement of Salva Kiir, of President al-Bashir, that this is one of my sons? How can son of somebody called al-Bashir be an advisor to the President of the Republic of South Sudan? That is the basis of our insecurity.
Insecurity affairs.
That is the basis of our insecurity. That itself becomes insecurity. You cannot be advised by a spy that has been sent into the presidential palace, and then the country goes smoothly. That is one of the reasons why we are failing. The other reasons could not be stated as per current talk because they may go off topic. But the truth remains, there will be no multipartyism until when SPLM has gone. Not SPLM as a movement or as a liberation struggle. You remember there are countries like Kenya, for example. The liberation was started by parties like KANU. Where are they today? You can hear the coalitions like Jubilee, like CORD or ODMs, and all those other ones flourishing because of multipartyism. A new blood must be injected. SPLM has capacity to use weapons to liberate South Sudanese, but it has no capacity to rectify what has gone wrong economically. Salva Kiir is saturated. His mind is occupied with the principles of war. He has no ability to reason on economic charts. He cannot develop the country as per the needs of South Sudanese. That is why in the rural most parts of the country, like his hometown, Kolakun, people even do not have clean water. In Juba, you will see they are the Ethiopians and other people like Somalis that go to the Nile and fetch water and bring it to the community. Where on earth can president rely on the bottled water for his survival, and citizens who cannot afford to buy those water becomes practical that they compete with crocodiles and other animals in the river just because to get water? This is a complete subjugation. And I have never known before that South Sudanese are this coward. Why do they fear a man of their own that has opted even to implement more marginalization that was not even done by the Arabs? Arabs have not given us water. I'm not saying they have given us pure water, but at least we had freedoms when they were controlling the country. Currently, we are in a police state where you have to go into your room at 6 o'clock or else you risk a known gunman shooting you. There is no free communication. If you communicate, somebody in the national security apparatus will listen to your voice. Even if you are talking to your girlfriend, they will laugh at you tomorrow that, what were you telling your girlfriend yesterday? I love you, I love you. They will mock you like that. Is that their concern? Is it a national security threat to love somebody on phone or using any other gadgets for communication? This is the stage our country has reached. I do not have much to add, so that I don't dominate your program. I would want to allow other contributors to talk. But the truth is, the current peace agreement is not holding. Holding how? When the entire Western world has opted to close their eyes. When the United States of America, who was working tirelessly to ensure that South Sudan is a viable country, has relaxed. When the countries like Norway have completely turned their backs because their efforts have been betrayed by the system. When Salva Kiir is not interested in projects but liquidity so that he can use it for his personal enrichment. Brother Jongkor, I am in darkness, but there is a lot to be said about South Sudan. And
thank you so much.
To keep quiet.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandy Dijon, for your insight. It was so interesting to hear you. Amazing. Thank you so much. Please have some sleep there, and you have a lovely night. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Greetings. Send all to our people. Thank you.
All right. That was Sandy Dijon, spokesperson SSUF. Let me go ahead and see who are those. I'm still. Abraham McQuay, I'm calling you now, and then I'm gonna go for others. Abraham McQuay, ya jamana gana, you know gana nati fi hell, bita de tisal. Abraham McQuay, welcome to Consensus. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Jongkor. Good to see you too.
All right, go ahead.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Go ahead with your insight.
Yeah, I just need to be quick a bit because I can see a lot of people are interested to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about the return of former detainees, right?
Yes, I can repeat the topic here. The topic actually talk about with the return of former political detainees plus other political forces. Is South Sudan going to be a multi-party democracy, or is it going to continue to remain one-party dominance, SPLM, the same individuals? That's the question of today.
All right. Yeah, there are a lot in that, Jongkor. I think you are, what I can say first is you are ahead of yourself. And the reason why I said you are ahead of yourself to ask that question is you are talking about multipartyism before peace in Southern Sudan.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we need is just a peace before multipartyism.
All right.
Jongkor, I just need to give you one example here.
Go ahead.
After the 2013 conflict, and then the arrangement for Riek Machar to return to Juba,
mm-hmm.
I talked to one friend of mine, and they said, he told me peace is going to come because Riek Machar is returning. Everyone is happy now. There is not going to be war. I told him, hang on. Something was.
Oh, you
yes.
tell him, hang on. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I told him, hang on.
Okay.
Something was is going to happen. And definitely J1 happened. So when J1 happened, the person met me again and said, do you have a person that you know within the SPLM party in Juba? I told him no. I know the Sudan, I know Southern Sudan, I know both peoples, I know the SPLA, I know the SPLM. And through what has been happening and current and what is happening, I definitely predict what was likely to happen. And J1 was a real disaster. So that is one thing. Another thing is Jongkor. Former detainees are returning now, plus others are coming, and everyone is rejoicing that peace is going to come.
And by the way, some of former detainees, they are already at home, and Pagana Mom is still in Colorado, and Deng Alor is here today, and he's soliciting, he's talking to him so he can go home. So go ahead.
Okay, just a quick thing about Pagana Mom. Pagana Mom was a Secretary General. He was jail released and left with the FDs, and then came back and reinstated in his position as a Secretary General, and then he left. Okay, what happened from there when he came back and reinstated and left is a total betrayal. We don't know what has happened, and that is one thing that made him not to come back with the others. All right, so that is one thing. Deng Alor was a foreign minister, okay, because of Arusha arrangement, and in that post, if you can sit next to him and ask him, what did you do as a foreign minister? Okay, he will tell you why he is where he is now. Okay? So Southern Sudan is Southern Sudan. So leave those things alone.
South Sudan.
Back to your question. If you remember the Russian Revolution that overthrown Tsar.
Tsar, yes, Tsar of Russia.
Yep. If you remember that,
I do.
That was a total revolutionary that was to liberate Russian from monarchy, from kingdom or from kingship dominance.
Yes.
After their liberation, what happened? Something wrong went, and again, another revolution happened. So Russians liberate themselves from themselves. That is Southern Sudan. Southern Sudan, SPLM, SPLA started as a lie movement. Whoever made that to mobilize Southern Sudanese and other people to fight against the North. It was a lie blended in truth. And by the way, SPLM...
Wait a minute here. Are you saying that the liberation struggle, it was a lie? They were not fighting for marginalization. They were not fighting for justice, liberty, prosperity. That's what you say?
No. What I'm saying is the organization, the mobilization of the people who fought. All right? That's why I said it was a lie coated in truth. Okay.
I got
a lie coated in truth. Why I said that, Jongkor, people in Bor were told, because Murle raided Bor all the time, you need to go to Ethiopia and get gun to protect yourself from Murle. People in far north of Barkza were told, Maralin, always come and do this and that. Can you come and get gun to protect yourself? That is what was being used. And Southern Sudanese moved in big numbers to Ethiopia. And when they went there, it became something else. And they were told the truth to liberate themselves from the North. That was the reality. On the hope that once we liberate ourselves, this is what we could get and that and that. And they forgot actually that your brother can be a dangerous enemy. Okay? Your own brother can be a more dangerous enemy than the far enemy. That is what Southern Sudanese forgot. So after liberation, Southern Sudanese came to Southern Sudan, and they forgot that sometimes your brother can turn against you. That is what happened exactly. Your brother can mistreat you, okay? And that's what happened. So the expectation that after liberation, this is what we could get and that, that didn't eventuate. And people were asking, why is it? Why is that and that? Okay? And this is where disagreement comes in. Okay? So that is the foundation of SPLM, SPLA. Okay? So we leave that apart. Coming back to the question of former detainees and multipartyism and SPLM, SPLA. The brother who left before me talked something about former detainees and that SPLM, SPLA need to be reformed. He says something that would victimize former detainees. And I wrote something like, I don't support former detainees, but he actually said something misleading. We don't know why these people were within the SPLM. They were SPLM members, they are SPLA generals, and they disagree among themselves. We don't know what they were saying. Some went out and some remained in. We don't know what they were saying that make them to separate themselves and fight against themselves. Maybe some were talking about reform. Some were talking about SPLA lost vision or something like that, or some were saying, well, people of Southern Sudan are not happy with SPLM, and they disagree among themselves. That's why there are detainees, there are runaway, there are those, and they are all SPLA, SPLM generals. They are all the same. whether people within the government, former detainees, the Riek Machar himself, they are all SPLM, and they were all in the government. Okay,
Now,
we are not.
Abraham, before I let you go, because it looked like, we are running out of time. A lot of people have requested. You have said that actually I am out or I am ahead of, of myself, talking about the multi, partism in South Sudan. Yes, I certainly understand that point. But my question is, because everybody's going home, the detainees, the oppositions, and from all different kind of, and that's why I came up with frame this question. Is it going to change anything? Are we really going to practice multi-parties parties in South Sudan? Is SPLM is going to allow that to happen? But since you said that, yes, our focus is a peace, are they going to implement peace first? And then after that, we can ask the question, are we going to be a multi-partisan country or not?
Short answer.
Yeah, the peace is delayed 4 months. In your own word, what do you think is the problem there? Why?
Short answer is,
go ahead.
Short answer to that is, the SPLM, okay? The SPLM, which is now a political party that is ruling Southern Sudan, is made up of former military soldiers. From Salva Kiir to the last person, they are all military generals. Can you tell me one country in this world that is ruled by military that has multipartism? Can you think of a single country? No. Yes. No. So forget about multipartism. Okay? They are soldiers. Okay? They are soldiers, and there is not going to be any party next to SPLM in Southern Sudan at all. Look back to Sudan, from independent, okay, to time of Bashir. There is overthrow of government even now and then. That is a system of change. We were from Sudan. Our mentality, we are Sudanese. Just we are Southern Sudanese now, but we are Sudanese. What made us different from the rest of Sudan? Okay? Jongkor, until some generations to come, maybe 30, 40, 50 years times, when you get a civilian government in party, in the system in Southern Sudan, that is the time you will expect multipartism. Okay? Where you find a president, a civilian, you get a functioning parliament where parliamentarian debate, they propose a motion and they talk freely. Okay? Not like a person coming and tell the parliamentarian what to do and what not to do, and that is the parliament. Okay? Nothing like that is going to be happen. There's no multipartism that is going to happen. Back to the return home of those of former detainees and the rest. Okay? If I were in Juba today, okay? If I were in Juba today, I would pack my thing and go. Do you know why? Because former detainees are coming in, Riek Machar is coming in, everyone is coming in, and tomorrow they are going to talk to Salva Kiir. Your leadership is not good. We need a change, and Salva Kiir going to resist back, and conflict going to start, and fighting again. Okay? The only person that is going to maintain war in Juba is the person who will come and sit in his own house, and not to talk about Salva Kiir leadership, not to ask Salva Kiir to change anything. Leave Salva Kiir alone to govern, to change his own things with whoever in power with him, but not to tell him what to do. Because you cannot tell military general what to do. John Garang was not being told what to do. Okay? You cannot tell Bashir what to do. If you tell them what to do, you end up in jail. And if you don't want to be in jail, you can employ mechanism that can protect you not to be in jail. And those mechanism is resistant, and that resistance can bring in gun against somebody who's carrying a gun. Okay? You talk to somebody who talk back to you with the word of mouth, but you cannot talk to somebody who's carrying gun. You need to have gun to talk to somebody who's carrying gun to listen to each other, okay? So Jongkor, I'm scared. Whoever that is coming to Juba today, I'm really scared. There is likely to be another J1, okay? Let Southern Sudanese know that, okay? So talking about multipartyism that we are talking, hopefully if Southern Sudan in 50 years is going to be that, if I can say 50 years is good, but not at the movement. There is not going to be multipartyism in Southern Sudan. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Abram Makwe, it was good having you, brother. It's good to exchange. It's good to have that conversation. It helped a lot. But let us keep dream alive. That's things are going to change, right? And we will keep advocating.
Jongkor, hopefully they are going to change. Somebody talked about the Zimbabwean coming to become teachers in Southern Sudan. Can you see irony in that? Southern Sudan is a lucky country, okay? Why I say it is a lucky country? There has never been a country that is like Southern Sudan who has a lot of people all over the world who obtain a higher education, okay? And there are people who are well educated. They are not doing anything. And people are going to Zimbabwe, if that is true, to bring graduates to come and teach. What are they going to teach Southern Sudanese? How long has Mugabe been there? What is the chaos in Zimbabwe that is happening now? People are starving because of coup. Mugabe was overthrown. Are they coming to teach Southern Sudanese how to overthrow Salva Kiir so that they become better? Or what are they going to teach us? No.
Let's leave it there, brother. It was good having you. Good advice. Good talk there. Please don't go away. You can stick around. You may come back tonight. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jongkor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, for coming on and adding your perspective. I know people are getting a little bit tired. You want to send in your requests. Send in requests. I know. It looks like you're out, Sabata. Emmanuel Ajawin is out as well. Let me, Makir, I'm going to try you one more time. Hopefully it's going to work. Charles, Widow, I'm going to try you one more time as well. Because I don't know what's going on with him today. Charles, I'm calling you right now. No, it didn't show actually, Emmanuel Jawin. It didn't show at all. I don't know why. For some reason. So that's still working. Yeah, let's go ahead and send it in.